clergy murdered simply for wearing a cross, for being a Christian, for daring to say they worship Jesus as Christ. Just yesterday, 25 little girls were kidnapped from their school, and one school official murdered trying to protect them, from MAGA Comprehensive Girls Secondary School in Kebbi State. Colleagues, this is happening. It's undeniable, and it's unacceptable. The United States condemns these attacks in the strongest terms, and it demands accountability.
The United States Congress opened a high-profile public hearing to examine President Donald Trump's recent decision to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. This move has stirred intense diplomatic debate and divided opinions among policymakers, rights groups, and Nigerian authorities. Leading the committee was Jacob McGee, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Bureau for Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, who said recent Christian killings across Nigeria have led to President Trump's designation of Nigeria as a country of concern.
President Trump's decisive action to designate Nigeria as a CPC made clear that the United States stands ready to champion the rights of Christians and protect them from religious persecution. The religious freedom situation in Nigeria is well documented in the annual IRF reports. The IRF Act, designed by Congress nearly 3 decades ago, establishes religious freedom as a U.S. foreign policy priority and mandates that the president call out religious freedom violators as a reflection of the importance our nation places on America's first freedom. As my colleague stated, the levels of violence and atrocities committed against Christians in Nigeria are appalling. Particularly in the Middle Belt, these attacks directly target Christian populations. Ample witness testimonies have confirmed attackers used religious language during their attacks and specifically targeted Christians.
While acknowledging the killings of Christians, United States Representative Sarah Jacobs had criticized President Donald Trump's comments threatening possible military action against Nigeria over allegations of Christian genocide. According to Jacobs, framing Nigeria's unrest solely as a religious genocide oversimplifies a crisis driven by terrorism, banditry, socioeconomic inequality, and weak state institutions. Appearing as a witness at a congressional hearing examining religious violence and human rights concerns in Nigeria, Bishop Anegbe delivered a sobering account of the attack, which occurred in Plateau State and left communities devastated.
You are all familiar with the massacres of Saturday, 13th June in Yellowater, where 278 persons, men, women, and children were killed in a manner too gory to describe here by people shouting Allah Akbar, while slaughtering their victims. It took the prayers of the Holy Father Pope Leo XIV on Sunday, June 14th, for the government in Nigeria to even acknowledge this evil. Even so, the federal government still seeks to downplay the numbers and has yet to properly care for the survivors, even as I speak. Adoptions of clergy and laity remain rampant. Priests and pastors are prime targets for elimination. On 17th November 2025, another priest from Kaduna Archdiocese was kidnapped while his brother was shot dead and others taken into captivity. On the same day, a school was attacked in Kebbi State with many kidnapped, and the vice principal of the school was killed. Reports are also rife of the capture of a brigadier general of the Nigerian army with some army officers and soldiers by the Islamists. This is the daily experience of many Christians in Nigeria.
Oke Onugbogu, Senior Fellow and Director of the Africa Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, cautioned that any unilateral military action by the Trump administration in Nigeria could backfire, putting the very communities it claims to protect at even greater risk.
Public opinion surveys overall in Nigeria indicate a public consensus on the seriousness of the security challenges in the country, with many Nigerians valuing their diverse communities and believing in shared national unity over divisions. Now allow me to offer some concrete recommendations. First, to the United States government. It's important to engage deeply and broadly with communities across Nigeria. the U.S. can play a constructive role, but it must avoid selective intervention and address the concerns of all Nigerians across all religions to prevent worsening sectarian divisions. 2, it's important to rethink reactive quick-win actions that may seem beneficial to Nigerians, but could have larger and far-reaching negative impacts. If the Trump administration proceeds with unilateral military action in Nigeria, it could endanger the Christians it aims to protect and worsens divisions along religious lines. 3rd, prioritize security governance to help tackle the violence. The U.S. should reassess its security cooperation with Nigeria.
Pope Leo XIV has also expressed deep concern over the recent spike in violent attacks across Nigeria, condemning the killings and urging unity among the country's diverse religious communities. According to Pope Leo XIV, extremist groups operating in Nigeria have been responsible for atrocities affecting both Christians and Muslims, stressing that the violence has spared no community.